Would you just introduce yourself briefly for everybody?
Sure. I'm Bobby Bauer with BMC, president of Business Machines Company BMC out of Lansing, Michigan.
What's the BMC do?
We're a point-of-sale reseller. We sell in grocery, restaurant, and retail spaces, predominantly in the Michigan area, but also in 32 other states.
Well, I didn't realize you had that many states. Yes, that's a lot of states. What was your very first hourly job?
My first hourly job was actually also at BMC, working in our warehouse. So sweeping the floors, receiving packages, and mowing the lawn.
I love it. Yeah, paying those dues. It's important. Yeah, it's critical. What's your typical day-to-day look like?
Sales, big part of customer outreach, managing the sales team, refining our processes, and just making sure the general direction of the company is going in a way that we'd like it to go.
Lots of communicating your strategy and checking in. Working in this industry, and you span some verticals with what you guys do, but working in retail as a whole, I think that we as an industry have done a terrible job about communicating why it's awesome to work in this space. Sure. Whether it's on the vendor side or in store. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on what you find fulfilling about working in this space?
Sure. Serving people. It's funny because I enjoy solving problems and they're different every single day. So that's like, as far as the day-to-day, that's what I enjoy doing. But in each of the problems that I solve, I'm also serving a person a need they have a problem. I just enjoy helping them deal with whatever situations they have.
Problems that don't affect people don't actually matter.
Right.
That's something I hear with everyone that I talk to in retail, whether it's grocery, food service, general retail. It's all about people. I think every successful person I've talked to, and I've asked that question, every single one of them, their why is people. I think that speaks to the opportunities that are in the space for people who want to come work in retail or work on the vendor side. I think it's so fulfilling for people who like serving.
I'd agree with that. And the opportunity isn't just for somebody that's got a degree from Harvard or Yale or some fancy path that they've traveled on thus far. You can start at the bottom and work your way up. And if you focus on the needs of others and continue to solve their problems and grow yourself, there's people that will help you along that way and on that journey, because a lot of them started at the same place.
Yeah, I just got done talking with Kristen Pop, who with WGA and grocery from her seat. And it was really cool getting to talk to her about what her mission with the WGA is really focusing a little bit more on helping women who are coming up in the industry feel like they have a safe space to actually communicate and come forward a little bit more than they have in the past in this industry, and make sure that they feel supported. I think that's one of the things that I love about working in this space is seeing people who've been doing it for 40 years or doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
Everybody is going, hey, what are you working on? What do you need help with? Oh, I ran into that one time. Here's how we tackled that. And I think that community that comes with it is pretty cool to see. Is there anything magic that you've seen that was really intriguing or interesting, technology related, people related? At the show this year?
I think it's interesting to see how people are starting to build AI into various products. There's a robotics guy, a couple of loose down, where they're training the AI hands to robotic hands to fold napkins and such, and that's pretty interesting.
I didn't even see that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Living in the future.
Yeah. And then back office reporting, suggestive retails, and what we believe your maintenance is going to be, things like that, how it's actually starting to turn into something tangible, really be useful to people rather than just an idea.
I've sat through, I haven't gotten to even walk the floor hardly. Like I got to do like maybe one loop, but in some of the sessions that I did get to attend yesterday morning, I thought it was kind of interesting. There was a lot of people talking about labor, of course, which is my world, talking about employee recruiting and retention, and some of the solutions that they're putting in place. And I find on the vendor side, I thought they were great sessions, really great insights from retailers. But on the vendor side, it's often really frustrating because we're living on the bleeding edge. And then retailers a lot of them are moving for practices that they had 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're not jumping to the bleeding edge, right? And I find myself going, oh, but you could be doing so much more. If there was a theme for NGA that I've witnessed, it's the vendors going, you need this bleeding edge thing. You need this bleeding edge thing. And retailers going, no, not yet. What's your assessment of NGA? Like, what's your theme that you would ascribe to NGA?
I think it's an interesting time, an interesting mix of clues here, like from an age demographic perspective. And there's a lot of aging executives from the wholesalers, retailers, vendors. All the baby boomers are getting to a point where they're sunsetting their career, and there's a lot of new leadership here that is going to be in charge of all the decision making coming forward. And I think it's going to be interesting to see over the next several years how that change happens. Like, is that next generation of leadership going to be more comfortable with adopting the bleeding edge, or will it remain somewhat similar to what it's been in these organizations?
We're not going to know yet.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Yeah. Time will tell. We'll see. We'll see what our interview next year says.
That's right.
Is there anything that you wanted to share? Maybe any insights from the show, insights about what you're seeing in the industry, what you're doing with the solutions that you're bringing to the space, that you think are important for people to know about?
Focus on the problems that your customers actually have today. You kind of what you alluded to earlier. Maybe they're not ready for the bleeding edge, but if you have the ability to offer like a tiered approach, solve this problem first, maybe you can get to the bleeding edge later, where you know you can provide a lot of value and you know they need the solution, but they're not just quite ready for it yet.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me.